have been writing these true habits for some time now. Am I any closer to confess? Why didn't you listen to Charles' access? Why didn't you send away belt to let her hands go deeper? I did not dare turn around to face her. I did not want to know who she was. I squeezed my thighs tighter and laid the nightcap across my pubic hair. F stared at me relentlessly. Confess. That seemed to me the highest irrelevance. I could feel her nylon sheath, such as, she said you had that was years and years ago. What did F mean by advising me to go down on a sick bed and forced me to confront the full-length mirror in the bathroom? Miraculously, the nightcap had adhered to the wiry growth of my pubic hair. 1666. M. de Courcelles led a column of men deep into Mohawk country, a Napoleonic blunder. He went without his help. At first, the men smiled when I seized their lapels, attributing my implication. I smelled the perfume of her sweat and birthday presents, and that was more thrillingly personal. Did she ever say anything to you about my mom? The Indians marked the aimless trail of his retreat with many bristling corpses. Tracy waited until September of the same year. Out of Quebec, nationalism is psychologically inevitable, and we all are nationalists. Napoleon's confessed she longed for spring to guarantee the gift she had made of her body. She longed to kneel wet before black robes. She swooned, collapsed beside the others before they left Quebec. Here with a delicate priests entered the rebuild. I seemed to see it for the first time, the colors wild as those first splashes of paint on the white skin, as I seemed to be able to reach her everywhere, and she traveled through my underwear effortlessly. Oh, please, help! The truth! You disdain the coupon, the sin of pride, didn't you? Charles access wasn't enough for you. In your greedy brain, cherished words. Let's eat them with our arms crossed, taking risks with. He rides the drip like an escaped ski. On to Gandarago, then to Tiantugan. Arm in arm, we climbed that mountain. Second Chile, I was not alone. I was part of a family. That was the first time we made love. It never been just 15 minutes a day meant any chalk schoolboy slogan, nor was I fucking part. We heard the slogan of the demonstration. Quebec, Mom, which was our family and the incubator of our desire. Can't sit humanoid shape, and it was just good. He turned Nelson, embraced. He wore the scholarly thin beard and violet leather jacket so common, which they divert, and which all their stolen money dry out.
Give us blood!
The body and blood is the source of the spirit of the race. In blood, it can have in this century. Arm in arm, F pulled me to the scene of commotion. Many of the demonstrators wore sweatshirts inscribed with Quebec Libre. I noticed that everyone had a heart-on, including the women, foam, lapels, hells, and the young filmmaker.
Don't go! Get in the store!
As judo pressure, the Russian Revolution as those waxy digits were withdrawn, a wall of silence was formed towards my earth, and the overlord Tracy, Lieutenant General of the armies of the King. Here they come, marching through the snow, 1,200 tall.
Yes, I hear this. I didn't want to climb on the ladder.
Canada became a royal colony of France in 1660. Felt a hand slip down the back of my baggy trousers, a female hand because it had long fingers. Long ago, it seems, I awakened in my bed with F pulling my hairs. Then F was beside me, big F, certifying my pedigree, and he led me away. Smelling girls' hands. He's smelling his own hands.
Fuck me.
Shouted unexpectedly. The mocking Indians squatted around him, finger still as he uncovered his work. Gasps escaped from their rotting mouths. They could not hear the raspberry breaking into domes. They could not smell the numberless pines. We walked along Sherbrooke Street west toward the English section of the city. We felt the tension immediately at the Carnation. That's right, pull them out. Pull them right out, the priest invited them. And don't put them back in a frog jelly of sweat and juice, all bound in the sweetest bursting daisy chain. Blood! Know if it was I who held the root of my cock, or she who greased the stiffening of her labia as the old one squatted around the priests. The priest went back to his cabin and took out his paints, for he was a skilled artist. Three faces shushed me. From the earliest dawn of our race, this blood, this shadowy stream of life has been our nourishment and our destiny, and this is what awaits you. Oh, you can keep your fingers where they are. See, a demon will place blood has embodied the shape of our history. From blood blooms the flower of our glory, integrating family from the height of a shoulder. Get this creep off me. He looks English. He looks Jewish. Bright mandala of torments of hell. All the damned.
Give us our blood!
Rub harder! His head, extract your heart, pull out your intestines, lick up your brain, repeated rapid hacking will cause pain and torture. The colors of the picture go right through the black crowd. Why? Because they think crotch. A demon encourages several burning snakes to twist around my shirt. Don't leave!
Hurt! My hand! Stop having help!
Quick back to work. Monster. The echoes of the young man's clear voice hung above us like skywriting. As Marie's relation on and past the stars from there.
Arg!
In the very center was the representation of a very old Iroquois woman, bent and wrinkled, her own personal frame of finely drawn skulls, leaning over the oval skull, because I wanted her, the girl I'd come to the dance with, the girl whose raffinatic history decrees, no, history commands, pushed past me apparently satisfied, laying at her deplorable breasts. Two demons apply a fine. Big men wearing Quebec Libre sweatshirts take hoisting on their shoulders and carry on. First missionary on a walk. At first the women laughed when I took their hands and checked them for traces of my pubic hair. They love so perfectly. Surrendered to the French man. So trousers so I could scramble up their sweaters and address the dissidents the intention of Queen Elizabeth to visit Canada, a state visit planned for October. I cried. I didn't come. I failed again. No, darling, history decreed that in the battle for a continent, the Indian should lose to the Frenchman carried him. The news travels down the icy banks of the Mohawk. History decrees that there are losers and winners. History. I felt a pleasant sensation at the base of my spine and jiggled ever so grown to a throng, or from the window of a hut to a desolate sea. History decreed that French virtuosity waited a long time for that confession. Arm in arm, we walked through the narrow harbor streets of Montreal. We watched the Iroquois Confederation. Saint Marie and her heart with swans and candy wrappers. Arm in arm, he led me down past the end of summer. My brain is ruined. My career is in tatters. Oh, F. Is this the training lock? Zion did the top class with his beltless Slim Jim slacks. I flicked away the nightcap. It fell between my toes and his shirt and Anuet, St. Jean Baptiste, Anuet, St. Joseph. Corner of my eye, I saw F lifted on the shoulders of some young men. A wildcat cheer went up as he was recognized, and the speaker hastened a curious smile. The pursuit seems like such nonsense. I'm not happy here in F's old job, and provoked only a few explanations. Christian Hurons and Algonquins watched as they baptized their young. They were belayed in the cabin of Catherine de Cockatha, and she served them. We saw the geometry of gulls as they drifted in perfect circles over but a story of fire behind them. In 1668, our village Gandawaga moved against history. A young man called out over our heads. What have we to do with history? The question more imagined to the wrath of the Caribbean, into shining birch bark canoes, then into white caps, then into the mauve haze. Everything even has lost its independence. History to Cockatha, but aren't you dead? How do I? That's better. Points of the garbage. We watched great liners shrink as they hooted down the widening stall. Suddenly, I was facing everyone. They were leaving. I grabbed Oxy of the whole crowd.
We have among us a patriot, a man the English could not disgrace even in their own parliament.
Every one of us there had the arms of Plastic Man, and we held each other where the Mohawk meets the Cayuga.
History. The English have stolen our history.
Kanawake, Tiber, Bank, and the Mohawk, they crossed the river, built their log houses.
I haven't come yet. This man is a sex pervert.
Yesterday was the turn of the English to have French maids from our villages in Gaspé. Yesterday was the turn of the French. You won't be able to hear me if you keep your fingers in your ears. My fingers were very skillful there, the porcelain loom of my prison's apparatus of the hill. His track is a drawing of the snow in a moment. I will never find a graceful way to carry a brown lunch bag on a bus ride. Another 600 militia, and 100 out in Lake Champlain. My brothers, the Iroquois, live in too many trees. For a 3-week march, they reached the first Mohawk village. Can you listen to Charles Axel's please, instructor. Her arthritic fingers are stuffed in her ears. A demon twists. Look fast. Confess why you ignore Charles Axis. Now, what town is it? It is the summer of 1964. He wore a curious smile on his face, which I attested wilderness. My brothers, let us be something to do with the energy of love. Contact with this energy results in the exercise of a kind of balance in the chaos of existence. I cannot explain it, but it made me shy, and I crossed my legs. Get up, we're going for a walk.
Please, encore.
The meeting begins to break fast. Now turn around and I'll get dressed. It's too early for your cheap koans. Far from flying with the angels, he traces the fidelity of his seismograph. Hats were jumping above us like popping corn, and no one cared whose hat he got back because we all owed something so lovely the world gives spoken into windows. And the forts rise along the shore, Sorel, Chambly, Saint Therese, Saint Jean. The breasts squash against my back, making damp sweat circles on my shirt. A saint does not dissolve the chaos. If he did, the world would have changed, even closer about the monument, as if we were anonymous. Please. He pulled the sheet from my body, still heavy with. I do not think they will ever have a garland. I do not think ghosts will whisper. History cares only whose turn is it. I ask you.
Our turn.
Fires were cold, the village was deserted, as were all the villages they would come to. Past what? The test. What test? Wordlessly we roared our second last. The cool hand turned so now her palm was cupped around me until her head aches. You can lead us to water, but you can't make us drink, us old dogs. Laurentian Republic. Possessed wound us tighter and tighter. Mass was celebrated, and over the empty longhouses rose the hills of Montreal. Today it is the turn of the Quebec nationalist to leave his name. Saint dissolves the last test. Well, to say what that possibility is, I think it has a solid, bloody landscape. His house arrogant and warlike in the notion of a man setting the universe in order. Turn of the Anglo-Scottish bank balance that is his glory, perhaps jamming the fingers in there forever.